Good evening, my Rosalynds and Rosikins. Mother is back. And I want to talk about, for my Mother, I'm a Rich Man series. If you're worried about beauty enhancements, fashion, nails, extensions, etc., beauty enhancements in general, the aesthetic of your room, more than you're worried about your health and your wealth building, something is wrong. Very wrong with you. And I say this out of love to my Roslins. You guys know Mother is a financial baddie. I love building wealth for myself. I love budgeting sometimes. I love it. I love being able to have money, you know, and to have a savings, emergency fund, rainy day fund, beauty fund, etc., investments, etc. You know, Mother is about it. Okay. But I also love investing in my health, buying good groceries, buying things, budgeting. You know, I prioritize that more over aesthetic things and like wigs and all that shit and nails and all that shit. I'm more the type to do it yourself because I look at the cost average over time. And this is not for I would say, my wealthy brown shirts, dark skin exoticals, my wealthy Rosalynds who are already wealthy, you're great. You already have built your foundation. But this video is for those of us who are still building, because I'm still building mine. And so I understand that certain things take priority and precedence over the leisure of just spending money because you got it. Because technically speaking, if you have debt, you don't really have it. If you have kids, you don't really have it initially, if you're still in your foundational wealth building, right? And if you have, other obligations or the lack of certain things like a rainy day fund, the lack of emergency fund, the lack of retirement funds, you don't have it either. So in this video, I'm just going to talk to you all about the mindset shift and how you need to prioritize your wealth building and your health in order to really level up. Okay, so I want to first start off with the main thing that you need out of everything in order to blow up financially is your health. In the sense of prioritizing that as a step for you to be able to function correctly, do what you need to do to create that vision, to go to that job, to create that business, to make videos like I'm doing right now, like online, etc. Whether you're on camera, behind the screen, posting pictures, not anonymous, being anonymous, whatever. You need to make sure, TikTok, whatever, you need to make sure that you are prioritizing your health. And that leads to wealth. Oh, I'm going to make another video about this too. So, when it comes down to getting disciplined with building your wealth and prioritizing creating that wealth foundation and health foundation over, beauty enhancements, etc., because you remember Mother always preaches to you that health is beauty. If you are unhealthy, you are ugly. And that is because you're not at your greatest peak yet. You're not naturally biologically okay. You're at a dysfunction when you're overweight, when you are someone who is um, sickly. And that is not to say that you can't be overweight and pretty or sick and pretty. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is fundamentally at the base core, the foundation of the life you're trying to build for yourself, as a Rosalind, you need to make sure you prioritize getting your health in order because health is part of the glow up journey, is part of the beauty mantle. I've never met a woman who has lost the weight, prioritized skincare, hair care, etc., and just through the gym, through fasting, through, their lifestyle, what they eat, all that stuff. Say that she felt or is happier with what she used to look like before she made that transformation. Usually, and 100% of the time, it's I've improved myself. I'm healthier now, and they feel beautiful because they're healthier. Okay. Second thing you're going to do after you get your health in order, and this can go coincide, is wealth. That's when you start looking at your emergency fund your rainy day fund, your how you say sinking fund, also your retirement investments, debt payoff, and brokerage accounts. Some of you all have Bitcoin, etc. Some of you have inheritances, whatever you have that contributes. And some of you are like entrepreneurs or have a 9 to 5. Let's see, 9 to 5. And then some of my Roslins are stay-at-home wives or stay-at-home moms. But you also like get an allowance or something, whether you're like into sugaring or not, etc. Like these are all different ways to make money, right? Or yeah, entrepreneurs are classified with like content creators, etc. as well. So what I'm basically saying, or you're in the military, that too. Like these are all different ways you're gonna use, different things you're gonna use to create the wealth that you want, right? And then after you have all that, the foundation, you can prioritize the aesthetic of the glow up. Okay. So here's one thing I do know. You can be broke, but you don't have to be fat and broke. You get what I'm saying? We all understand that sometimes you go through financial hardships, whether you're a parent, child free, etc., divorced, married, whatever. We understand. Everybody in life has been through something if you were not born to like filthy rich parents, or a family like that. We all have had to stand on our own 2 feet at some point in our lives. And we've all had to, make certain sacrifices in life to get to other places to elevate ourselves. So we all understand that, right? So I'm not shaming you if you're going through something financially. That's not what this video is about. But it is about prioritizing what you need in order to flourish and create the wealth that you would feel secure with. And the one thing you need is health, because health is going to help you get out of bed because you have the ability to move your feet, move your legs, walk, pick up shit if you have to pick up heavy things at work. Go to the different job interviews that you have to go through or go to. Um, Give you the mental thinking capacity to brainstorm ideas, focus on your goals, etc. Health is the number one. And I'm not saying you have to spend $300 a month, $1,000 a month on groceries. But I am saying is that you have, you work with what you have. If you are someone who makes like 50K in this economy and you're single, maybe you say, okay, I'm gonna do like $300 worth of groceries. Or like 200. I'm really gonna pinch it tight each month, but I'm gonna prioritize my health. So I'm gonna buy fresh, whole foods and vegetables and fruits, etc. I'm not going to buy all the processed shit. I'm just gonna focus on what actually feeds my body, avocados, etc. You know, because for someone like me, I feel and know that when I prioritize my health, even when I didn't have or wasn't at the financial milestone I am now, it really changed the way I thought about life. It gave me hope because I wasn't killing myself with the food that I did buy because I didn't have a lot of money at the time. You have to, you can't be fat and broke. You got to pick a struggle, is what I'm going to say, because you don't have the luxury to just be one of those, both of those things at the same time. And also, fatness is an unhealthiness that you have inflicted upon yourself can also make you look less attractive. And we all know that the more attractive you look, the more opportunities you get financially to build yourself up, especially as a woman, or to level up. So, my thing is that you have to understand the order of things. You don't have time to be shopping on Shein when you don't even have an emergency fund. You don't have time to be getting your nails done every week, but you're not even hitting the gym. I mean, get your life. Literally, get your life, honey. Get your life, babe. Get your life. You don't have time to be over here worrying about dating Tom, Dick, and Harry when your health and wealth as a woman isn't even established for yourself. You just don't have the time. And that's not to say to not be hypergamous. Mother's always going to tell you to be hypergamous. But what I'm saying is the better you glow up financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, all this stuff, spiritually, as a woman, the better suitor you'll have, which in turn will like basically pay off all your hard work and sacrifices so that you have a better financial future because you're married to a man that's better financially inclined for you and that's wealthier than what you would have gotten if you would have stayed mediocre and lacked self-discipline. Also saying that, you don't have to glow up or have this mindset with the hopes of marrying someone that can take care of you. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that if you're a heterosexual and you want a good partner, become the rich man in your life. Become um, the leveled up version of yourself that will automatically attract someone like that, where you don't have to wonder, is this man going to do this for me? Is this man going to do that for me? Because you got your own. Now, when you're with him, you're vetting whether or not he's worthy enough to be your man instead of, am I worthy enough to be his woman? Because you have your ducks in a row. Is he a man that I feel is compatible with more than just focusing on his money, but money and compatibility because you have your own? You know what I'm saying? So for my Rosalins, I want you to have the mindset that when it comes down to financially building, health is first, wealth is second, and then beauty enhancements. Because my channel focuses on the glow up, always glowing up, right? But I don't want you to discredit the fact that you have to have the foundational steps already intact before you can even think of buying that $100, $300 wig, or buying those boots from Fashion Nova, or you know, getting this spa, that spa. Like, mother is someone who says treat yourself. I get it. Like, even when I was broke, I still made a way to do something to enhance my beauty. That's not my issue. But the first thing I focused on above all else was health. And then me getting a budget, right? And if you have debt, you need to prioritize paying it off. Let me tell you something. Mother doesn't have a car still. My thing is that I chose to pay off my student loans more than having a car because I said I'm not going to debt for no damn car and have student loans on top of that. You got me fucked up. I'm picking one struggle. That's my student loans, paid it off. Cool. Still haven't had a car yet. Don't see the need for it right this second in my life. As you know, I travel very much often because I am serving. Anyway, but the point is that no, certain things financially don't make sense to me. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not. I'm not going to do it. I'm going, and if I really want it that bad, I'm going to figure out a way to build my wealth more so that I have the luxury of getting that thing. For example, I wanted a beauty fund so fucking bad in my earlier 20s. I'm like in my mid 20s now. I wanted a beauty fund so bad, but I was broke in my early 20s. And so I had to make do with a little $50 here, a little $30 there, learn how to do my own hair, etc., etc. And, I did well with that. I still do well with that. But my thing is that moving forward, now that I'm in a place where my student loans are taken care of, I don't have responsibility of a car because I don't need one right this second in my life. And, I'm focused on saving, investing, etc. Now I could afford to put a couple, bit of money in a savings account just for beauty. But I couldn't just skip that shit, skip paying off my student loans, skip being financially responsible, investing, saving money for an emergency fund. I couldn't just skip that shit and go straight to, oh, here's a couple, thousand in a fund for some beauty. What the fuck is wrong with me? You know? That's not how a boss woman moves. That's not how a rich man moves. And if we're rich men in our own right, like the phrase says, mother, I am a rich man, then you need to make sure you're making the same moves, right? A lot of y'all, as in a lot of my Rosalins who need help financially, it's because you're living above your means. You're living above your means, and the economy is more expensive. So I'm not taking away from that either. Inflation, tariffs, all this shit is just too much. On top of that, if you're spending what little money you do make to make ends meet on dumb shit or shit that's not really elevating you, but causing you to have depreciating assets, which means things that lose value over time, that's not going to help either. I also want to add that when you get your health in order, you get your money in order. I say this because I'm realizing more and more that the more disciplined you are with your diet, the less you eat, right? The more that you invest in health, right? the less you crave, the less you need to buy stuff to eat, to consume. You end up saving more money because you're not in a starved mode of having to eat this, having to taste this, having to buy this. The more content you get with the beauty that you are and the things that you've already accumulated that you find to be very beautiful on you, as in clothes, nails, etc., press-ons, whatever you want to do to garner your beauty aesthetic and your beauty journey. Like, mother's not knocking that, but what I am saying is the more that you become content and discipline yourself with your lifestyle, the more money you'll have. So you can afford to go to the spa. You can afford to do those things. You can afford to pay off your student loans or debt or car loans, etc. You can afford to take care of your children by yourself. You can afford certain things, but you have to be honest with yourself. I talked about minimalism and like how you don't need a lot of shit. I realized too that since I had became a beluga whale at one point in my life, that literally I had to buy clothes that were bigger. That's extra money you spent for what? And now I had to buy clothes that are smaller because I've lost the weight and I'm still losing weight. My thing is the fact that, like, really, when you think about it, it's really a mentality. It's really just discipline, because you have financial goals you want to get to, and so does mother. I have weight loss goals I'm getting to, and so do you. And my thing is that if we can just take these concepts of what is important, what's going to push us further towards our goals, and we stick to it consistently, even when it gets hard, we're going to be some very wealthy, pretty ass, skinny ass legends. Anyway, and so the only way to do that though is to create and garner that game plan. I am rooting for my Rosalynds because I love you so much. And like, mother, I'm on this shit. So I love being around other women who are on this shit too. I just want you to know that we have like 3 more months left basically in the year, and a lot can happen in 3 months. I encourage you all to really deep clean your houses, deep clean your bedrooms, deep clean your kids' rooms. Create a vision board. Think about things that are going to enhance your life, enhance your vision. I know that talk is cheap, but actions garner wealth. And I want you to know that when you decide in your heart of hearts that you're going to break these generational curses, that you're not going to be impoverished, that you're not going to be downtrodden, that you're not going to be woe is me, but you're going to make something happen for yourself, even if it's by sheer discipline alone with working on what you have to create more, that things are going to move. You're going to break so many curses over your life, over your family's life, over your bloodline. You're going to elevate your bloodline and yourself and your children if you are a mother. And if you're child free like me, you're going to be breaking those generational curses and stopping them at the gate and say it ends with me, which is what mother is doing and has done so far and will continue doing greater things. When I stand with my beautiful matriarchs behind me, in spirit. I stand with the calling on my life, my beauty destiny. That's who mother is and will always be, despite what some enemies may say about me, despite the curses people try to hurt my way, try to check me about myself. I know who I am, and so do you. And if you don't, mother will always say she's here to remind you. I really want my Roslins to get their wealth in order because America is really going through some bullshit. We all see it, we all know it, we all feel it. And one thing that I know that's better than just being a pretty girl is being a wealthy pretty girl. How about that? Because no one could check you, no one could clock you, no one could tell you what to do and what not to do because you have your own. And I want to empower you to know that when you take the steps necessary, we get your health in order, then you get your wealth in order, and then you get your beauty enhancements, things you want to add to your natural beauty. It's only up from there, you know? So, again, just to recap, your health is first, right? That means that you start taking an interest in what you're eating, taking an interest in when you work out, when you don't, how you're sleeping, etc. Your mental capacity, you start, getting a self-esteem about yourself that's good and positive. You start thinking about what you want in life, what triggers you, what doesn't trigger you. You start being honest about every aspect of your body, of your being, of your internal soul, your spirituality, all those things. And then you start getting the vision, you start getting the will to be disciplined also with your wealth, because now you have your body in order. So I can afford to only spend $150 a month because I'm not being a glutton. I can afford to put savings aside, because I'm not just, feeding my flesh any and everything and spending all this money. I'm literally disciplining myself, taking control of my thoughts, my body, what I crave, what I need, what I'm entertaining, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, you know, my spirituality, right? I'm learning how to be content. I'm learning to be appreciative, to be grateful about what I have in my life. Now you're taking control of your wealth because the flesh isn't driving you, the spirit is driving you. Your vision is driving you. Amen. I mean, amen. And so now you can create an emergency fund. You can have a rainy fund. You can pay off your student loans within a year. You can do all these things. You can actually sell that damn car and walk in order to build your savings if that's what you need and pay off your debt quicker. Let me tell you something. When you have a vision, you'll move hell and high waters to make it happen. Okay? Okay. And so then after that, once you have your financial wealth, your wealth intact, now you're going on to beauty enhancements, because you have your beauty through your health. You have your empowerment. You have your discipline through your health and wealth, right? Now I can start adding things. Maybe I'll get a facial every month. Maybe I'll get my nails done every 2 weeks. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll be able to pamper my daughter along with me if I'm a mother. If you have like a little girls or something, or maybe I'd be able to invest in martial arts for my son, and things like that. So all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, it starts with your health. And health doesn't just mean you look nice and skinny. It also encompasses what's inside of your body internally and your body externally. All these things that work together to create you. That is a force of nature. You have to make sure you get in order, because wealth is not just built accidentally, it's built intentionally and with character. If you're not building your wealth with character, if you're not building your wealth with the idea of breaking certain curses over your life, of starting a new tradition in your family where you thrive, of looking out for the generations after you, then I don't know what to tell you, because it's giving wealth destination and not wealth destiny. That's another thing. We have beauty destiny, we have wealth destiny. We have so many different things. I think I'm gonna touch on that in another video. But my thing is just that I want the best for you, my Rosalynds. As mother is ascending slowly but surely, shit, maybe even faster. I want you all to do the same, because you're beautiful women and you deserve to not only be beautiful but to be wealthy and free. And if you have kids, if you're a mother as well, you deserve to pass on wealth, to show your daughters, to show your sons what it means to be an attractive, wealthy person, okay? And to be that example for the other women in your own family, in your own community that you know personally, because mother can only do but so much, say but so much, because I have my own life to live. I don't know you all personally in that way, but you have people in your life, women in your life, that look up to you. And if they don't, they'll start once they see that you're about the shit you're talking about. How about that? So I just wanted to say this because I really want you to have the mindset that it's health, wealth, and then beauty enhancements. Please don't go spending your hard-earned check on some foolishness when your body is not even healthy, when your mind ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And you have no discipline with what you put inside of your body that will fuel you to create the life you want, So with that, mother's going to say ciao. I love you, my Rosalynds.